Alright guys, wanted to take a quick video of my new Oklahoma Joe smoker that I just put together and have made some modifications to. A lot of the modifications that I saw, all of except for one, I found off of YouTube, and I wanted to share some of them with you and just kind of tell you about the process. Was not very hard to put the grill together. Did take a while because it's so hot here in Georgia, but didn't really take a long time. I took some breaks and went and got some things and took care of some stuff and got it done in a couple of hours. Also, the modification that I made, I had to go somewhere to have it done for the big modification, so it took a little while for that, but all in all, trying to get it all together was just a couple of hours. And we'll come up and show you some of the things that I've done. First thing is, as you can see around the edges here, a lot of people talked about how these grills would leak. Everybody, all the reviews love the grills. They just talk tremendously about how they don't seal very well. I can tell you that some of it is in the shipping process because these grills are so heavy. I bought mine at Walmart and had it shipped to one of the Walmart food centers, which was is not far from where I live, and it was it took a couple of guys to get it out and to put it in the truck for me. I did get it out by myself when I got home, but I just kind of slid it out onto my garage floor. So I was able to get it out by myself, but trying to get the parts and all of that stuff together was something else. In the instructions, it does tell you to get another person, and it'd probably be wise to do that, especially if you're a smaller person. I do have a little size on me, so it wasn't as bad as it is with some of the somebody else. So I got that sealed in. Another little trick, guys, that I saw from some of the warping that I did to kind of help me with the lid closure is when you close it down here, especially with this tape on it, it seals pretty tight, but not jam up tight with the tape on the outside edges here, like this one is. So in order to fix that, I saw another video with these clamps, and I tell you, I really like these clamps. I hadn't cooked on this unit yet. So that's going to be the next video, the first thing that I cook after I season it. But I saw these clamps, to kind of help alleviate that. If you look online on eBay and places like that, they'll have these things like, 10, 15 bucks a piece. I was able to go to Harbor Freight and get them for like $5.99 each. Now they don't come with bolts, so while I was there, I picked up a little universal bolt kit and got my bolts and got them in, got the sizes that I need. Putting them on was not too terribly hard either. I do recommend that if you are going to do it yourself, make sure that you get you some good steel drill bits. I was able to do it with a set that I got from Lowe's, and it was like 10 bucks or so. But I mean, it really did the trick. It didn't take much time at all. One thing I will tell you about when you get ready to do your drills, here on the inside, let's see if we can see. You can see the two bolts there that are holding. There's actually a flange that's up under here that's kind of thick, and make sure you're past that flange. I know when I first saw the videos, I was wondering why everybody had only two of the bolts on it. But I see why. Both of these bolts on the end, if you try to go over too far on it, you'll go into the other piece of metal, which you don't want to do. So both of these are on. They work great. Got them sealed out very well here. Tightened down on the inside of the grill, and really like that little feature that I saw. Very inexpensive fix to do, and you also get the versatility of, I guess, the maximum lid closure as possible. And if anybody grills, you know that's what it's all about. It's all about keeping that heat on the inside. Costs you less money when you do that, you know, because you have to have less coals and wood or whatever you use. You have to use less of that when you can maintain your temperature. So that was a neat little fix, and I'll show you how those work. When the lid is closed down here, you still can see some of the tape on the outside. Once these things are in place, all you have to do is push them tight, and then they'll click to lock. When they lock, you see it takes your spacing and gapping out and really gets that lid good and tight, which is what I'm looking for. I think that is going to be a very big positive the first time I start using this thing. All right, now let's go over here to the Firebox. Now, one thing that I did a little differently than anybody, and I tried to research this, and I saw some people who talked about this but never saw a video on doing it, so this will be one of the first on YouTube, hopefully, where somebody has done it, and I can be able to tell you how it works here shortly. One of the biggest problems, again, is the smoke or your heat leaving. So, you know, went online and I saw some videos where people that bought this RTV 4500 and a whole lot of other different types of sealants. Well, the problem with the sealants is, you know, when you use them, of course, at some point, you know, no matter how good they are, you're probably going to have to replace them. And that was something that I didn't want to do. You know, I wanted to take the time and make my modifications now so I wouldn't have to go back and do this again. So I thought about welding, or having the smoker box welded to the main chamber. So called around a little bit, talked to some folks, and I actually got the idea when I was, you know, researching this grill. I went to a lot of places, and I went to one of the big box stores and saw some of the smokers they had put together. And one thing that was different from theirs and, you know, some of the other smokers like this Oklahoma Joe is that the smoker boxes were welded to the unit. It was one unit, which really makes it efficient. And I mean, these pits were no less than $600 a piece. And it was the exact same thing, the same thickness of the Oklahoma Joe. They were just thicker. So you can save yourself a lot of money by purchasing this grill and just having some mods done yourself. Now I'm going to tell you, I had this smoker box welded. And when you put those two pieces together, it is a monster. It took me and the guy who did the welding, and I have his information also, guys. If you're looking for a welder in the Middle Georgia area, this guy is really good, very reasonable. But he welded this thing, as you can see, all the way around and sealed it up good and tight. Not only did I have the box welded to the main cooking chamber, I also had the box itself welded. As you can see, the welds going around the end. I hadn't painted it yet. I plan on it, but not real big on the cosmetics of it. As long as it works, that's what's important to me. But it fit like a charm. We stuck the screws in place, as you can see, on the inside here, just to hold it and make sure that everything lined up. Got those snugged up, and once he got those in place, he went to work, and I'm telling you guys, it was incredible. Very nice seal. I guarantee you this thing will not leak, and we'll see once we start the cooking process. So we got the welds done. That was a good deal. Got these locks, and I say again, I really love these locks. And you know, you can adjust these things too, guys, to, you know, for if you want it tighter than what it is. All you have to do is, there's these nuts here. You loosen this one on the back side, loosen the one on the front side, and you let it go down further or back it off if you want it a little looser. But you know, that works out great. So really enjoyed, really like this feature, and can't wait to see how it performs when we put it to the test here, and we'll be doing that here shortly. Also, one thing that I did, well, I guess that I forgot to do, is this same Nomex tape here. I don't really like the way that looks right now, and I am going to change that. I meant to take that with me to get it welded as well. You know, there are a couple of solutions that you could probably use for that instead of having it welded. One being there's some stuff at Lowe's that they have that's food grade sealant. You know, again, but you know, when you use the sealants, at some point you're going to probably have to change it. But it's a food grade sealant, and you want to make sure that if you use a sealant to try to do any of this stuff, make sure it's a food grade sealant and not just some regular caulking stuff or some engine stuff. That stuff will leak into your meat and could, you know, possibly have some kind of contamination. So be mindful of that. But for now, I just got a piece stuck here where these two go together. It's a screw on the bottom side here that tightens and holds it in place. So I just put that there for now, but I am going to get my welder to weld that on for me as well. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is this thermostat. Now I'm going to tell you, I had some issues trying to get this thing together, and I finally figured it out, and I'll tell you guys, as I tried to search for a video because it didn't make a lot of sense to me at first. With this thermostat, when you take it out of the box, there's a bolt or nut that's on the back side of it. When you screw that bolt all the way off, there's another nut that's like made onto the stem that screws down into this hole. Well, I thought you can just, you know, kind of gauge it, and, you know, it'll eventually end up where it's sitting level where it reads normal, like it's reading for me now. You can see, you know, starting on this side and going up. Every time when I did it without the nut, you know, it would be skewed or turned one way or another. What you have to do with this nut is loosen it first. And once you get the thermostat in the position that you want it in, then, I don't know if you can see the nut on the back side. There it is. Then you tighten that nut down to keep it in place. So that's your trick to fix that. You know, again, all you got to do is loosen it just a little on the back side, start screwing it in until it tightens down. When you get it where you want it and it's just about tight, then tighten the nut on the bottom. So you'll leave that nut on the bottom side. I took it off, and I thought that's what you had to do. And when you take it off and you look on the bottom side, you can't, you know, there's nowhere to screw it into on the inside. You can see here. As you see here, there's nowhere to screw it into. So I was looking, I thought the shaft, you know, was not long enough. There were some other things, but that is your trick to fix that. Okay. All right, well, again, these are my modifications. Getting ready to season this grill here, and be checking back in with you guys shortly in order to let you know how the seasoning went. But loving it so far, even though I hadn't cooked on it yet. Loving how thick it is, how everything went on your installations. Everything went smooth. So until we get ready to season, I will see you guys shortly.